All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. Do you remember some time ago, like in the last about 20 years, there was all this outrage in children's sports over participation trophies, wherein people come to a competition, it's a tournament, and like everybody gets a trophy. Okay. And I remember seeing some parents and coaches, and they were outraged, right? Because they're like, absolutely not. You guys lost. You came in last place. You don't get a trophy. And then the counter argument is about it's not about winning or losing. It's the name of it. It's the nature of the game and all this kind of stuff. And I personally am from a generation wherein participation prizes are counterproductive. I don't believe in it myself. I think it's very bad for you because it sends the wrong message. It's just like in certain school districts where once I was a tutor, and I'll never forget. I had students who were on honor roll. They were on honor roll, but they were, let's say, these were honor roll students who were middle school, but they were reading at literally fourth, fifth grade level. These are seventh grade, eighth graders, and they can barely stumble through a sentence, but they're on honor roll, right? And you're like, well, let me see your classes. Well, I'm on honor roll, but I'm in remedial classes. I'm in all remedial classes. Well, you can't be on honor roll in all remedial classes alongside the student who's in the advanced classes. That's sending the wrong message. You're confused. You think that you're really knocking it out the box, but you're not, right? And so when I think about that in the broader society and the way in which it has shaped people's values and it has set certain expectations in people's minds, I understand why people are shocked by my approach. You know, a lot of people take to and understand what I'm saying, immediately. It isn't problematic at all. But there are also uh, a percentage of the people who, when they actually come in contact with the work that's involved and the expectations of how you're going to show up and perform day after day, week after week, month after month, season after season, year after year after year, then people are thinking like, you know, they're offended. They want a participation prize. I want to be, and I feel entitled to the recognition. I feel entitled to the promotion. I feel entitled to the accolades just because I'm here and just because I've been here for X number of days or X number of months or X number of years. And that's not the way it goes. That isn't the way it goes. You don't get a prize just for participating. You've got to perform, and you have to perform at a certain level. That's the only way you get a prize. Okay. And so I think within the ranks of Orisha practitioners and devotees, a lot of people are, exploiting your weakness and your expectations by pandering to you. And they're giving you eleke as a participation prize. They're initiating you into this and initiating you into that and telling you all these wonderful stories as participation prizes. And you love it because it makes you feel good, but you're not really performing at that level. You're not truly earning that title. You're not actually embodying that that function, that principle, right? I once knew a lady, for example, who she went for a consultation, and I saw her after the fact, and she told me that she was an herbalist. And I was surprised. I said, "What do you mean you're an herbalist?" Yeah, they said I'm an herbalist. And they told me that all the things that I was going to do through, through my herbal medicine and how I was going to, you know, teach all these people who were going to be game changers in the world, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm listening to this person, but I'm thinking like, "Yeah, but I've been to your house and there is not a single living thing in your house. You don't even have a cactus. You don't, there's no way that you're going to be an herbalist, right? I remember you being sick and I'm telling you, take this herb, take this herb, take this herb, drink this tea. And you told me categorically, oh, no, 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 I can't do that. I don't take any of those kind of things. I can only take my medicine out of a package. Oh, but you're now an herbalist? And I mean, she was looking all into schools of medicine, Chinese medicine, and herbalism. And I'm just looking and I'm thinking, mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't see that's not possible. Needless to say, this person never became an herbalist, right? But the priests pandered to her enough to make her believe that it was going to happen, and they gave her enough stuff, right? They gave her enough little, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to minimize the importance of receiving things, but they're trinkets at that level. When you're giving people things, you tell them this story about who they are and what they're going to be, and then you give them this thing and tell them that this is your secret decoder ring, and with this, you can unlock all the secrets of medicine and herbalism. That's pandering, and it's pandering and exploiting the money out of these people, and then it just, you know what I mean? It just leaves them with a collection of stuff that they're never ever going to use, and they were never ever supposed to have in the first place, right? But then when they come in contact with someone like myself who's saying, I'm not going to rain on your parade, but I'm also not going to just listen to you tell me this fanciful tale about you being an herbalist. And that is not at all what I see. In order for you to be an herbalist, you're going to need to do certain things. You're going to need to live in certain kinds of ways. And I can show you, I can guide you in that way. Start here and do this. But if you're convinced that the pandering is real and all you need is your secret decoder ring, I sound like the hater. I sound like I'm raining on your parade. I sound like I'm the one who's trying to obstruct you from fulfilling your destiny. And that's not the case. It's just that if you want to be an herbalist, this is the way you got to go about doing it. Not like that. And, it comes out of the fact that, for example, I remember in the previous generation, uh, in my mother's generation, for example, I remember looking at her high school yearbook, right? And I'm thumbing through and I'm looking, I'm like, this dude looks like somebody's father already. Like, who is this? And what about her? And they look a little old to be graduating from high school. She said, oh yeah. And she started talking about this one and that one. It was true. But in her day, if you didn't perform, you didn't pass. So this guy got held back. This guy got held back. She got held back. She got held back. They were 20 years old. They were 21 years old, right? Because maybe not 21, but 20 years old. Yeah, this guy was 20 years old because he didn't meet the requirements to advance at different stages of his academic career. Right back then, also sometimes people had to take off school because they had to go work and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, no matter what your story was, we're not going to promote you if you can't perform. So that's a whole era of people who raised people in my era. So the participation prizes, they just don't make sense. And then at the end of the day, it's not only that they don't make sense, that they work against you because you know outside of the social, the socially engineered places like schools or sports teams, just in the law of the jungle, there are no participation prizes. You don't get to be uh, you don't get to be a leopard, right? You're not going to just get the spots, right? Because you're hanging out. You got to do leopard things. You got to climb trees. You know what I mean? You got to run down wild boar. You got to do leopard things in order to be one. You want to be the head of the lion pride? No, 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 no. Just growing the mane isn't enough. Nah, that ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna have to go out there and do lion stuff. You're gonna have to fight other lions. You're gonna have to go out and pull down a buffalo in order to be the head of the pride. You got to do things. You got to be a certain way to occupy a certain position. There is no other real way to do it. And so, again, within the ranks of Orisha devotees, one of the biggest problems that you're going to face is the pandering. The pandering is a very extreme problem. People are really prone to gassing you up, and they're telling you anything that is going to make you feel good to get your attention, to get your money, to you know add one more person to their roster, whatever their motivations are. But trust and believe, you have to know if you can, and this is the dilemma, you've got to be willing to challenge yourself to say, have I really done the work? Have I truly proven myself? Do I really know and understand the rigors that are involved with occupying this position? How long does it actually take to be this? How long does it really take to proclaim this title? What level of proficiency is truly necessary in order for me to make use of this? And if you can't, get a straight answer on that, then you gotta. I want you to start thinking about other areas of life that you may have been exposed to. There's firearm safety. In order for you to legitimately have a firearm, there's training that goes into it. You want to drive a motorcycle? Well, you know what? You got to have a license, which means you got to take a certain test. Great, you got that one done, but you want to now drive a car. Well, the license that you have for your motorcycle isn't sufficient for you to drive a car. You need to get trained and you need to take a test so that you can drive a car. Now you want to drive a truck? There's another license for that. And you got to take another test in order for you to drive a truck. You want to drive a boat? You want to drive a ship? You want to fly a plane? Look, those are all motor vehicles. And you may have been driving a car for a number of years and you're skilled. Fantastic. But when you want to shift from one to the other, there are specific levels of training. And it's not just about participation. You've got to meet the criteria. How much more true is it for you to be calling yourself a priest of Shango or a priest of Ifa or a priest of Obatala or an herbalist? There are certain performance requirements. Use your common sense. Don't let people tell you stuff that feels good and then you just go diving into it. Don't let people woo you into this mediocrity just because they're telling you what you want to hear. Use your common sense. If you respect what you do and you respect yourself, then hold yourself to the highest level, to the highest standard. And as you do that, excuse me, then you're going to naturally gravitate toward the other people who are operating at that level. You're going to gravitate toward the people who maintain those kinds of standards. And nothing, nothing, nothing in the world will enable you to be occupying that or sharing that space with the high performers, but you're actually putting in the work and the effort of a low performer and saying that you're equivalent. You right? It's naturally you're going to start to see it, and you're going to you know you're going to charge yourself with you're going to challenge yourself, right, with this change behavior to say, oh no, I need to be getting down like these people get down. And we see it all the time in the world of sports, particularly team sports. When you look at people like Michael Jordan, for example, you see Michael Jordan and his work ethic. He talks about the way he works out and the way he drives the team and the demands he put on his team. He say, hey, well, sometimes Michael Jordan wasn't the nicest guy. Sometimes he wasn't the friendliest guy. But Michael Jordan is performing at the highest level. And he demanded that his teammates also perform at the highest level possible. They may not have liked it, but they knew they wanted to win. They knew they wanted to win. You're not going to be on this team and just get a participation prize. You got to be working out with us. You may not even get in every game. Your playing time might be very minimal. But when it comes to for us practicing and us or your professionalism and what you're doing on the bus, etc., you're performing at this level, period. And you realize the only way that I'm going to be participating with these folks is if I'm willing to perform at that level. So I will endure whatever discomfort goes with being at that level. Kobe Bryant, same thing. These guys bring their teams up. Their performance level, their work ethic, and their requirements for everyone around them sets a certain standard. And everybody who wants to be operating at that level will do everything that they can to meet that standard. That's where you want to be. Don't, right? You don't want to put yourself into the situation where you're playing playground ball. You're out there, you're a playground legend, right? Balling in the yard on the playground and thinking that you're an NBA candidate simply because these people on the playground are hailing you as the king of the of blacktop. Unless that's where you want to settle out. But I think that you should set your sights on the highest levels of accomplishment and achievement, particularly as it pertains to your destiny and the fulfillment of your purpose in this world. Always reach to the highest level. Always gravitate toward the highest performance. Always associate yourself with the people who are doing it in the most pristine and elevated fashion. And don't delude yourself. Be willing to do whatever it takes to achieve the highest levels of performance. Don't settle for participation trophies. Put in the work to get the real goal. This is a message, as always, for the leaders. I'm looking for people who are ready to transform the world through positive influence. If you're one of those people, find out how Obafemi Oribowa and the Odisha Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life to the next level. Visit me at obafemio.com or odishalifestyle.com and start working together to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Bye.